Here we have a GM two-piece shaft for Dedrick Automotive. It's one of their customers, and I would say that this is like a temporary get it going so they can shake it down shaft. The customer had made a temporary shaft at their shop that went from the transmission to the center bearing, and then the back section is the way GM built it. So it shook bad enough that it needed to be tuned up, and it was way the hell out of whack. So I buzzed it off at the midship stub, and that's where they had altered it. And unfortunately, the weld hub there at the midship stub, it had got hit pretty hard with death wheel, and it was smallish to get the tube back onto the 2 3/4 065. So I solved that problem by turning it down to 2.5 083, and then I could get straight into this 1330 slip yoke without a swing joint, and 2.5 065 tubing. It's only about 12 inches long. The running length is 16 3/4 from center of the U-joint to center of the center bearing, and it still is. The back section is as it was untouched, and so I fired it back up, and of course, even though the stock center bearing felt good on the bench, as soon as I spun it, it spun good for seconds, really, and then started screeching and clicking. So I put a center bearing on it, and then, of course, like GM shafts do, they had an ingot weight welded on, and because the shaft has been altered, it was exactly naturally in the exact wrong spot to be beneficial. So it was like hurtful. So I carved that off. You got to be careful taking them off, because that's thin wall tube in there, and you rip the plug weld right out through the tube and screw that up. So it's tuned up now. After all that, the back section is just the way GM built it. I put a new 1330 snap tight in there, and she's good. Crank her up. That's 2,800 RPM. 0 at the transmission, dead flat. 0 at the center bearing, dead flat. 0 at the rear axle. Yeah, I did tune the weight up on this, obviously, but it's going to run successfully, and it'll be a good transition piece. You know, as probably they put more power in the truck and do whatever, the small S10 rear end may not last, so there may be further changes to be made, but at least this will run them for a while to shake the bugs out.